Hello everyone, happy Deepavali and wish you all a very prosperous happy Diwali. So last time we had done with the old man and the sea part one. Now it's for part two. Sorry for not reporting, not broadcasting for a long time because I was busy with some personal works and all. But today I will share with you. So let's start with the part two. I will share my screen and yeah. So part two starts with the first shark shows up an hour later. It has picked up the scent of Marlin's blood. It's fast masked shark, an elegant predator. The old man sees it's coming and he's prepared. When the make attacks from behind with its open jaws, Santiago hits the harpoon between its right side into the brain. The shark goes down, though not without having torn out a big piece of the marlin's tail beforehand. Santiago experienced the shark attack like an assault onto himself, and killing it feel like an act of self-defense. Yet the sea feeds not only scavengers, all creatures kill to live. The fish eat the small, and the old man is part of the system. Fishing kills me exactly as it keeps me alive, he realizes. What the body does for him during streaks of bad luck also keeps him alive. On the one hand, the wound of the dead fish hurts him like one of its own. On the other, he tears off pieces and chews its delicate meat. He estimates the animal's weight and calculates how much it will sell for at the fish market. Enough to keep him going all winter. The harpoon was lost in the shark attack. The old man lashes his knife into one of his oars to prepare for the next ones. When two more sharks show up, he repeatedly stabs the knife into the oars into the shark eyes, trying to crack open the cortical around their brains. But each time the predators tear off some of the fish meat and take it down with them into the depth of the oceans. The knife blade snaps. The old man has no other choice but to try and club the sharks to death. He sinks the oars and and beats them against the shark's head. Night falls again, and now the sharks are showing up in packs. The old man thinks that half his catch is already lost. Santuke can try only to drive away the sharks, but eventually left nothing of the fish, and consequently there are no more sharks to pursue him. Now that the fish is gone, his skiff is lighter and sails home smoothly. Santuke reaches the shore to the middle of the ride. No one is awake to help him, as though he struggles to haul mast and sail up the beach and collapse into bed like a dead man. The next morning, the older other fishermen who can't go out because of the bad weather admire the sheer size of the fish skeleton that's still attached to the boat in the harbor. Manolian takes care of the old man and gets him coffee, but it is a while until he wakes up. Even the coast guard has been out looking for him. The old man will need some time to recover, and in the meantime, the boy take care of business. While the old man goes away, he has a good catch on other boats. Now he's determined to go fishing with Santiago again. The At first, the old man refuses because he's still unlucky, he says, but the boy knows that although the sharks beat his friend, he still has a lot to learn from the champion fisherman. So, this is the story of now the part two ends. So, basically, this whole story tells about the life struggles, what happens during their struggle time, and we should not lose hope. So, story is overall about a modern era where all the people know that it's not end of life. There's still hope, and yes, the times goes and the times comes and goes. So it's not like that. Yeah, one day you're unlucky. That doesn't mean that you will be unlucky your whole life. So it's a very so it is more like you can relate with this in your life when you're well on the extreme of your personality and then of your peak of your life, then again you become nothing in some time. So it is a very heart touching story, I feel. And yes, So it does even gives sometimes chill that, yeah, what will happen if the man goes and never comes back also, because this is a shark thing is very dangerous. But still he survives all through this tide, and everyone admires him that even though he lost it, but still there was hope that, yeah, once again he will again strive. And the boy who was constantly uh, saying to go back, he never wrote back, because he knew that though man has limited itself, but there was a time of his glory, and you can learn from old people more because they have more life experience than us. And what I believe is that life go on. You can't stay there and grumble about that. Yeah, I was not able to get what I want, and yeah, go to the extreme level of advice where nobody is there to help you out. So, what are the interpretation of this is the story focuses on a simple man, often referred by the titular generic term the old man, thus seeming him into a everyman. The book doesn't talk about day-to-day complications in the fishing business, rather the source of nature, the fisherman's advanced age and hopeless situation transform the story into an existential battle. In his heroic yet tragic fight, the old man wins and loses at the same time. He loses his livelihood when the sharks steal his prey, but he remains the moral winner and a hero because he doesn't give up until the end. Santiago put his way a man can be destroyed but not defeated. By using basic primal images such as water, loneliness, rivalry, combat, and sneak attacks of sea monsters, Hemingway brings the implicit symbolism of his parable to light. The simplicity of the old man's life is an allegory for the existential situation of humans. People are lonely, and in their heart is the vast nothing of life. They face fear of death and destruction, but they define their dignity by how they prove themselves in challenging situations. Hemingway updates the Christian cardinal virtues of faith, love, and hope. The old man decides to go out to sea, believing in himself and hoping for a lucky day. He loves and respects his worthy opponent, the great Marlin, and because the old man is good, kind-hearted person, his best friend, the boy, in turns loves him. The story tells the tale of a man with great achievement in his past who struggles to remain relevant. His parallel, Hemingway's own struggles, difficulty in repeating his early success as a novelist. The theme resonates with anyone uneasy with the effects of aging in fear of becoming reabundant. If you see this in way, by 1951, when Hemingway wrote The Old Man in the Sea, the United States was just beginning to experience the consumer boom that would characterize the ensuing decades. As the Korean War would down, a comfortable life with material abundance seemed accessible to all Americans. With industry completing its conversion from wartime production, cars, refrigerator, TVs, and endless products and services seemed available to anyone with a job, and work was easy to go. As universities and colleges expanded rapidly to train demobilized soldiers in advanced skills, the problems of the previous 2 decades seems miraculously to fall away. An age of progress and flies beckoned. However, with the experience of two world and economic turmoil not far in the past, the promise of the new economic order also brought fear. The developing Cold War with the Soviet Union and the catalytic potential of nuclear weapons underlying the complexity of the new order. Mortgages and car loans, the challenge of adopting a middle class lifestyle in places like the new suburbs and generally navigating daily life in the post war world also meant that the 1950s became an era of psychoanalysis and psychiatric medications like Valium and Benadryl. The Second World War set the stage for a mass literacy culture in a way never seen before or since literature became an integral part of the American experience of war in Europe and the Pacific. As part of the government program, publishers produce millions of cheap copies of contemporary authors' works for soldiers in the field. The selection of books was broad and included both pulp detective novels and sophisticated power literature. In the era, Before television, the program helped rise novels to central place in many working class lives with access to higher education under programs for veterans. Reading took off as a mass activity and a freer period in the 1950s. Author played a crucial role in the public imagination. Freshly minted subordinates widely adopted Book of the Month Club and other literary subscription services, laying the ground for Ernest Hemingway's success with his short, simply written Late of a Man, A Giant Fish, and the Sea. Starting in the 1930s, Hemingway lived on and off in Cuba. It was there that they met the fisherman Giorgio Finetes, a native Lazarte in the Canary Islands, who would eventually become the first mate on Hemingway's boat, the Pilar. Although Hemingway claimed that the protagonist in the novella was based on no one in particular, many believe that Fuentes was his model for Santiago. And if he wasn't, he eventually grew into the role for the author, passed away. Changery literally tourist hard cash for taking his picture and listening to beef episodes of his friendship with Hemingway. He told every one of them that he had never met a greater man, while also claiming that he hadn't actually read The Old Man and the Sea. Curtis died in 2002 at the age of 104. Others believe that Hemingway's original first mate, Carlos Gutierrez, an old fisherman with 40 years of experience at sea, who brought Hemingway everywhere thing he needed to know about catching marlin and who spun many yarns, inspired him to write the story. Hemingway first sketched out the main plot in the 1936 article uh, in Inquirer magazine in 1939 wrote to his editor that Garner helped him in the tale about the old commercial fisherman and bought the swordfish all alone in his skiff for 4 days and 4 nights, and sharks finally eating it after he had alongside and could not get into the boat. In the 1940s, Hemingway suffered from a number of health problems, survived two plane crashes, and recurring love of a much younger woman, bouts of depression, and writer's block. In 1951, he wrote the draft of The Old Man and the Sea in just 8 weeks. According to him, it was the best I can write ever, all for my life, and his fan agreed. In 1953, he received a Pulitzer Prize. If you see review this, like The Old Man and the Sea was a trumpet international comeback. Hemingway won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1924. Award for his life work and with special mention of his novella, a masterpiece for a deeply skeptical post-war generation. The story message hit home. Never lose your dignity, not even at times of great trouble and distress. The story was made into the movie in 1958, starring Spencer Tracy as Santiago and a TV miniseries in 1990 with Anthony Quinn as the title role. It would be difficult to overstate Ernest Hemingway's influence on contemporary literature. According to the scholar James Nankel, he changed the nature of American writing, and many of Hemingway followers try to emulate his lean Tracy style with varying degrees of success. One of his most famous literary rivalries of the time was between Hemingway and the master of conclusion and William Heffner, who wrote one of the most longest literary sentence ever, Birds in. The latter commented on the former, he was never known to use a word that might send a reader to the dictionary. To which Hemingway replied, poor follower, does he really think big emotions come from big words? Apparently, he didn't, because when asked to write review, the old man as he follower refused at first and later provided these words. His best time may show it is the best single piece of any of us. I mean this and hand make contemporaries. Thank you. And yeah, hopefully I will come with more like this. And yeah, you can also tell me whatever you like. So next time I will give you the few reviews of and recommendations for some Chinese novels, and yes, some what you call this Hindi audio novels which are available on YouTube and Pocket FM. So I will also provide you links for that. So thank you. Keep watching and keep telling what you like more. Bye bye.